I think the biggest thing that everybody has in life, the fear of unknown. And all of those fears stop us from moving forward. I'm not fearless. I still walk with fear. I'm still terrified some of the time, but I'm in trust. I'm in trust that it feels right, and just go with it, allow, and what is needed of you will be revealed.
Hello and welcome to the Driven Female Entrepreneur podcast. I'm your host, Melita Campbell, award-winning business coach, value whisperer, and founder of the Dream Clients Blueprint, the proven system that guides you in defining, communicating, and selling your true value with ease and authenticity so you can create an income, business, and lifestyle that you love and feel proud of the positive impact you are creating. Each week on this show, I share business building wisdom from my own experiences and those of a range of successful women. My aim is to help you dream bigger and achieve more by learning from what works and gaining actionable tools, tips, and insights from women who are building a range of amazing businesses. One thing I've learned from recording 150 episodes of this show is that there is so much wisdom and insight we can learn from listening to the stories and experiences of others. So today I'm excited to speak to Sara Troy, a professional podcaster who believes that self-discovery is not only our own experience, but comes from hearing the stories of how others have embraced their own struggle and found their true awesomeness. So welcome, Sara. It's lovely to have you with us today.
Oh, thank you. And it was a delight to interview you too. So, it's my turn today.
Yes, exactly. So if you haven't already discovered, go and check out Sara's podcast and my interview on there to see the flip side of the conversation we're having today and all the other incredible people that Sara has interviewed. How many interviews you shared with me yesterday? I can't remember. It was some mind-blowing number.
Well, close to 3,000.
Wow.
Shows now over the years on my network, which would be in June, 10 years of my own network. But I did a couple of hundred before that with another network, but she's taken them down, unfortunately. So, but yeah, close to probably 3,000 myself.
Yeah, so plenty of wisdom. If you're ever stuck for any advice or inspirational wisdom, go check out Sara's
library of them.
Yeah, Self-Discovery Media. We'll link you up in the show notes as well. But Sara, I would love it if you could share with the audience a little bit about your journey. How did you get to create Self-Discovery Media in the first place? And what has that journey been like over the last 11 years?
Well, it's funny, actually, I was coming out of, I had invested in a quantum electric motor. And it came to that it was stolen from us, and everything I had put into there, I had lost. And I was at a true crossroads in life and suffering from kind of empathic or environmental depression. I went into a depression and I had to write about it. So I wrote a blog, and then somebody picked that up and then looked at my site with what I do, which is the discovery of self as a coaching. And she said, well, would you like to be a podcaster on my network? And I said, what's a podcast? I didn't even know. And I joined her podcast network, which was live. So for 13 months, I did live shows, which was an incredible training ground. I call it the soap opera training ground, because people may turn up, they may not, they may drop, you may drop, all sorts of things go wrong and you have to be on the fly. But I got the bug, just listening to people, the wonderful inspirations, the wonderful journeys that people had taken. So I knew I had to start my own. But even in starting my own, I still didn't know what I was doing, but I knew I had to do it.
Wow. Talk about in at the deep end. Hey,
oh, yes.
Host the show live.
Yeah. My first show was a Monty Python skit. I pressed all the wrong buttons.
You hear people on TV, these presenters have been doing the show for a long time. They're especially trained and they find live shows difficult.
Yes.
You mentioned you were struggling with depression. You shared those experiences on your blog. Was it the depression you were blogging about?
Yes, but I'm one of those people that in order to get out of my depression, I've got to be of service to someone else. So I'd written something, but kind of in a reply to someone else going through something. For even me, when I'm in that zone or any zone, it's right about to get through it. And nowadays I even do a weekly podcast, which sometimes is that, and sometimes it's just whatever's on my mind. But it's a process of getting through it. So, and it just happened to be picked up. It's this one of those things, those synchronicity things, right? The redirection
Yeah.
of my life.
Well, I was just thinking, doing this live show is a challenge. It's going to push most people out of their comfort zone and well into this kind of imposter territory.
Yes.
If you were already in that space where you weren't feeling your most positive, how did you say yes to that?
That goes to the knowingness that we will hit upon. It's that I'm an instinctual creature. And if there's something inside of me that says, well, just do it. You don't know if you can do it until you try. Just do it. And I've learned not to question that. I may not always understand. It may not always work out, but it always reveals something. And so they just do it. I didn't even have the money to join because it was a monthly fee and I had just been made bankrupt. So I had got the money, but somebody spotted me the money for the first month. I don't even know how I came up with the months after that. Eventually she didn't charge me because of the people I was bringing in. So, but it was just like, okay, all right, I'll do it. I'll do it. All right. But that's how I've done everything in life. That's how I've gone into everything in life. I've talked myself into jobs that I really didn't know anything about and learned when I got there. But I think fundamentally kind of customer service and knowing what other people need or want is the core to, everything that I do. So yeah, I am rather a person, let's jump in the deep end to see if I can swim.
Yeah. I love that you have that courage to go for it. But more than that you listen to your inner instincts and you said, okay, I'm feeling this, so let's go with it and see.
Yes.
And that's something that's come out a lot on this show, is that it's taken people a long time the instincts were there the whole time. The message was there, but they were missing it. They felt it, but they're going against it. Like, oh no, I'm not ready yet. Oh no, I can't because, or there was always some excuse. It felt like a very real reason, but something holding them back. So I love that right from the get-go, you tapped into that and it's guided you ever since, I guess.
If I listen to my head, I'll talk myself out of it. If I listen to my heart and soul, my spirit will jump into it. It's as simple as that. My head will talk me out of anything. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people don't do things, because the head of doubt comes in. Who do you think you are? No, you can't do that. But you need this first. I mean, especially an interviewer. Where's my credentials? And that's one thing, I've never had a piece of paper for anything in life to give me credentials. I say, God gives me credentials and I just follow what it gives me. But if I go into my head, and that's what I find most people do when they go into their head, they can talk themselves out of things. But if they listen to the soul, the heart, and the spirit, and then you learn as you go what you need to learn. But the spirit is there, the knowingness is there, and your heart has got to be in it.
Yeah, I had an old boss and he was a brilliant mentor. And he once said, why would you take a job that you knew how to do? He said, how boring is that? There's no growth in that. You want to say, if someone's presented you with an opportunity, then they believe in you and you just have to borrow that belief and say, sure.
Yes. Yes. Let's see. Be wondrous.
Do you have any telltale way of knowing if you're in your head and snapping yourself out of that and say, nope, I'm not listening to that now. I'm going to tap into my wisdom. Is there any way of doing that?
Well, for me, it's that core, the kind of the core just underneath the ribs there. It is that core that just says, do it. It feels right. If I feel a push against the core, then I know, no, either I need more information or it's wrong for me. And I have to be more inquisitive as to why not to do it. But if I don't feel that pushback, and it's just, I think the biggest thing that everybody has in life, the fear of unknown. I don't know what territory I'm going into. I don't know what's expected of me. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know, if I'm going to make a fool of myself. And all of those fears stop us from moving forward. I'm not fearless. I just trust in my knowingness. That is my guidance system. I still walk with fear. I'm still terrified some of the time, but I'm in trust. I'm in trust that it feels right, and just go with it, allow, and what is needed of you will be revealed.
So powerful. I think I have my intro for the podcast. We always have a teaser, but it's so true, isn't it? And it's, people often wait to have the confidence, wait to be ready, but you that time's never going to come unless you try. So if you're feeling it, then borrow the confidence and the trust from all your other experiences. Like, well, I figured that out. I can figure this out too, surely.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's the
Amazing.
point though, isn't it? It doesn't matter if you were a neuroscientist and now you want to be a waiter. The techniques and skills that we had from what we've done before and life experiences can just be remolded into what we are needing in this next experience. It's this need and the importance of you've got to be verified, validated, justified. And it's that what gets in our way. If we go with an open heart and enthusiasm and show that we have the skills and the ability to learn, to adapt, to adopt to a system, then I think we're more employable because we show versatility.
Yes. Yeah. And we prove that to ourselves as well.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I've been going for an opportunity. Oh, can I really do this? And then I've broken down. Well, what do I really need to do this? And then it's like, well, I can do all of that. It's just a new context for what I've done before.
It's rather like a director putting on a new play. Each play is going to be different. Each of the players are going to be different. You're going to come at it maybe from a different way. But the core that drives you, the eye that you see it in, the way that you want to envision it and bring it to life is already there from the experience you've had before, from what you've learned, from what really drives you and the passion of why you're doing it. It's just different players and a different stage. That's all.
Yeah, that's a brilliant metaphor for that situation as well. Yeah. Do you ever feel awkward or fake when it comes to telling people about your business or offers? Or feel disheartened when you do talk about what you do and people just don't get it? Don't worry, you're not alone. Many business owners struggle to confidently and comfortably articulate the true value of what they offer. But it's not something that many people teach as the first rule of business. Yet this one skill sets apart the real business owners from the hobbyists. And when you nail it, you can stop feeling like a fraud. And instead of feeling embarrassed when someone asks how your business is going, you can feel proud to speak of the income, impact, and lifestyle that you have created. You shouldn't feel overwhelmed working all the hours or offering discounts just to make ends meet in your business. If you feel that way right now, I have some good news for you. I've created a masterclass that will teach you exactly how to communicate your true value to your dream clients and how you can use this skill to sell without selling. Once you can articulate your true value with confidence and clarity in every interaction, you'll never be left wondering how to attract enough of the right clients to your business. Access your masterclass at melitacampbell.com/training. It's my gift to you to help you grow in confidence and thrive in your business in 2023. And I'm imagining that you didn't just wake up one day and have this magic ability to tap into your instincts. What triggered that journey, or what was that journey like for you?
Basically, I'm uneducated. I was a very sickly child, so in bed a great deal and long places of time. I'd go back to school and they'll think I was a new girl because I've been gone so long. So I was always behind. And I also could not learn the way they were teaching. I don't know, being asthmatic, very often the oxygen was closed off to the brain and maybe it caused some damage. I know I'm dyslexic, which I only found out at 21. And I just couldn't learn the way in their format. So basically, at grade 7, I exempted myself from school. I was 16 and I just left school. My mum, I was in South Africa at the time. My mum was in England and I just didn't go back to school. I said, I'm not coming back. I was legally could do that. And I knew that I learned more from life, from experience of life, from conversations and the wisdom from the universe, which was my guidance system and my knowledge, than I could from the academic institution. It was just not for me. So it wasn't a question of me trying to prove myself. It was just I knew I had to take different paths and listen to my intuition as my guidance system, to what I could do and what I couldn't do. You just relied on different things inside of you.
Yeah. Have you found anything you can't do?
Plenty. Can't
Okay.
spell, for one. Grammar is terrible. And there's
You don't
plenty
strike
I
me
can't do.
you don't strike me as someone that can't do anything. It's like, yes, I can do it.
Oh, no, there's plenty of things I can't, but if I can't do it, I'm a good motivator for someone who can.
Yeah.
Because I'm a seer. I can see the possibilities in other people when sometimes they can't see it in themselves.
Yeah, wonderful. And I love that you were saying how you learned from life. That's how you learned, because you learned differently and you didn't have the access to school because of your asthma and various things kept you away from that. So I just thought that was very interesting that often I have conversations with women and they're like, oh, I think I need to get another certificate before I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any advice for someone? Like,
Yeah.
how would you know, yes, I do need this certificate, or no, you don't need it. You just need to trust who you are and trust your instincts, and you have it all already. Is there a way to see what would be the best option to help you move forward?
I've been an employer as well as an employee. And when I'm employing someone, I look for personality first. Are they a person that loves life? Do they really want to put their heart into it? Have they got abilities to be flexible, to be even a little general? Even if they're specializing in something, if they were called upon to do something else, are they willing to participate? If I'm looking for an accountant, then I want an accountant that obviously knows what they're doing. But at the same time, it's about who they are, not necessarily the skill they have. Many people have gone into jobs because of their personality is right for the job. And then they go, you know what? I need to take a course in such and such to make this job easier, or so that I can grow and branch out. And you'll find many, many a boss that will go, you're a valued employee, we'll pay for that, because they want to see you grow. But if you're waiting, I once met a woman, for 10 minutes, she was telling me all the degrees she had, just listing them off. She was 55 and had all she'd ever done was just learn. And I said, well, what are you going to do with it? She said, I don't know. I think I'm going to go back to school. And it's like, there are people that are afraid of using their knowledge, or they don't know how to use their knowledge, and they're just in knowledge for knowledge's sake. That is not what knowledge is about. Knowledge is meant to be shared from your perspective, from your own gift. It is meant to be shared, and you learn even more as you participate.
Yeah, and I fully agree with that. I think, there's that saying that knowledge is power, and I agree with that, but only if it's shared. If
Yes.
you're just getting more and more knowledge and not doing anything with it, as you say, I mean, that's
What's
not
the point?
possible. Yeah, exactly. You need to share, and well, I know you're very much into sharing knowledge. That's everything about what you do. So you talked about your journey and how you got started in podcasting. What made you stick with podcasting and become a professional podcaster for 11 years?
I know. And this is the only thing career-wise that I've ever stayed with, that I get up every morning looking forward to. And that's because, I get to interview people like you. You've shown your adaptability. You've shown that there are obstacles in your way, but you also showed that you weren't going to give in to them or give up. You were going to look for a way through them, around them, above them, whatever it is, but you were going to keep moving forward. And your drive to help other people on their journey of life. And those are the people that I interview, people who have had extraordinary things happen, have some things happen to them that should never happen to a human being. And they didn't get stuck on what happened to them. It's who they became, who they chose to become, on the skills and the tools that they have now to help someone else on their journey of life, that is really, truly the exemplary. So you can't do this for as long as I've done this and not be moved by humanity. And for all the bad news that you hear out there and the people tearing themselves apart and each other apart, you do an interview with someone who could have given up, could have given in. They would have had every excuse to do so with what happened to them. But they choose now to use all that they know to help as many people as they can. This is what gets me up every day. They're the movers, they're the shakers, they're the inspirers, and they're the inviters.
Yeah. And thank you for bringing those stories into the world in so many different ways, because it's not just a podcast, is it? You have like the YouTube channel and so many different formats to make this knowledge as accessible as possible for as many people as possible and really get as many of those stories out there. It's just a wonderful gift that you're giving to the world. So thank you for that.
I'm just lucky I landed in the candy shop.
Thanks for that. But another reason to say yes to these opportunities that we're like, I can't do that. Can I?
And I had plenty of people when I started off with this. Well, no, you need to do it this way. No, you should do it that way. And your look should be this and this, that, etc. And it's like, I can't do it that way. That's somebody else's way of doing it. All I can do is navigate it from inside Sara out, because that's all I know how to be, is Sara. And if it's not good enough for someone, or if it's not someone's cup of tea, I'm not going to be offended. There are millions of other podcasters out there, and you'll find someone that speaks to you. But I have to be true to who Sara is and how Sara does it.
Yes.
Because this is my frequency.
Yeah. And you were saying yesterday about how your website is a bit old-fashioned and it's the way you've created it, you maintain it. And I thought that was brilliant, because so many people, like, websites are one of these excuses. Oh, I can't go out there and meet people because my website isn't good enough, or it's not finished, or it's like, what, it needs an update. Like, it's just irrelevant.
But also, how many times do I look at a website and then I meet the person and look at you and your website have nothing in common?
Yes.
And it's very, very important when you're hiring someone to do a website for you that you are in it. Not just what you do, not pretty pictures, not a nice layout. Where are you? I go to the about, there's a picture and a little bit, but where are you? Where's the essence of you? Because if I'm wanting your services, I want to buy you first. And if I don't feel you there, then I'm just going to go to the next.
Yeah. And that's so important these days. I mean, competition, particularly online, is really increased, particularly since COVID. Everyone's become a coach, everyone's gone online. So you really have to stand out. And the only way you can do that is by being yourself.
Exactly.
Not the only way, but it's the best way.
Yeah, because everybody else is taken. And why are you competing or comparing? It's you're going to find the people that will resonate with you, that hear you. You know, I know in the shows that we do, there might be just one thing that and that's maybe the only thing that they pay attention to in the show. But that's one thing they didn't have before we started, right? And that's the important thing, is just be true to who you are, wherever you are, for whatever reason. And that's who people will be drawn to. And that's it, you know, it's important. I think probably one of the hardest things for people in their discovery of self is to be who they are, because they don't know. They're living the outside life of expectation. And that self-discovery of who you are and what you're here to do and what your gift is part of our life's journey. And once you find that gift, I draw the analogy to it being an instrument. When you find that instrument, you learn how to play it. Yes, you can be a soloist and you can play very well and draw people to you. But when you join an orchestra and every instrumentalist there in their own strength comes together in harmony, and you play a symphony that resonates out, look at how transcending that is. So we have to be strong within our own instrument, but we've also got to learn to play collaboratively with others.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that point, you mentioned that self-discovery is really the purpose of our life. It's a whole journey. But how can people start? How can people start to understand who they are exactly and really be in this place of knowingness?
Switch off the outside world for a start. Nature is a wonderful teacher. It really is. When you go in and actually become present with nature, you're walking in the forest, the rustle of the trees, the leaves of the trees, the crack of a little twig, the birds that are flying around, the rabbits and the squirrels. You become present with them. You become engaged with them. The water on the shores, or even just the wind in your hair. It is all something that is connected. It's switching you on, and it's helping you feel. And when you start to feel and you start to awaken and you start to become engaged to what is really real in the world, that is tangible and that is there, that is your energy force, you start to connect with your own energy force within inside yourself. And you truly start to listen in. Not the outside voice of doubt, not the outside voice of expectation, not the outside voice of dictation of what you should be, but you start listening in to who you really are. And then you learn to love yourself for who you are, all your beautiful flaws, all your wonderful quirks, all everything that is you. And things that you don't particularly like about you because they've been conditioned in you, you can erase. Things that you've always denied yourself being, that you know is the essence of who you are, you can bring out. But we're willing to take that journey. And a lot of it is in solitude, going in and being with self. Now, I don't mean you have to go up to a mountain and be a monk. It is taking time every day to be at one with self, to be present with self, to check in with self and learn to love yourself. And the more you do that, the more that love comes out and the more people begin to see you for who you really are.
Mm. Yeah, I love that. And the more I do this, the more I coach and work with entrepreneurs, the more I realize that success really depends on your ability to love yourself and respect yourself. Because you have to put those boundaries in place. You have to do things that work for you, for your energy, for your personality, for the impact that you want to have. Take that time for healing, for solitude, for whatever you need.
Yeah.
You have to love yourself enough to be a little bit selfish.
Yes.
My colleague calls it being selfful, and I love that because I think it's better. Giving yourself permission to do that isn't necessarily so easy in the first place when that's just not our conditioning these days. We're conditioned to be busy, and that's like, yes, we should be busy and like give to everybody else and do all of these things. Is there anything you've seen work for you or for the people that you've been helping that has helped them give themselves a little bit of space, a bit of permission to get that process started? Because I think once you start, then it's easy to continue because you start to get a little bit addicted and start to see the benefits of that.
It's working. Yeah. Breathe, number one. Be conscious of your breath. Literally, when the breathing in and the breathing out, be with the breath. Just be with the breath, nothing else. Be with the breath. And then as you calm down, because the breath will calm you, as you calm down and you can feel the shoulders drop and you can feel the body relaxed, then just allow. You can ask yourself a question. Who's in there? Who am I? How do I want to feel? But in that breath, in that beautiful rhythm of calmness where everything starts to calm down and the stepping into allowing, no, I want to be this, I want to be that. No, I don't want to hear any of that. It's who are you really? Because who are you really is right here begging to come out. You just haven't allowed it to, because you've been living by that expectation. So the breath and the breathing and being present with oneself, being present with oneself without any outside distraction. Some people call it meditation. Some people may do yoga or may do something else to find that place, which is their space. Find your space. But it all starts with breath, because the breathing slows you down. It allows you to connect in, and it allows you to start hearing the inner voice. And that inner voice isn't just heard, it's felt. And when you start feeling it, and you can actually feel, because you're hearing it and you like what that inner voice is saying, you know you've made a connection. And the more and more you do that breathing and connect with self and allow that voice to come out, the more and more you realize your universal friend is always with you. And the more you listen from the inside out, the more you realize you're never alone.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that is such a simple start point.
Yeah.
Just
Everything is simple. We like to complex it.
yeah, we are masters at overthinking
Mhm.
and who was it? Was it Albert Einstein said, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication, because we make things too complicated the whole
Yeah.
time. So I love that we can just start to breathe, take some time in nature, and ask that question, who am I?
Yeah.
I think
Be
that's
present with self. Be present with self. It's not anybody else's opinion of you. Nothing. If somebody doesn't like you, don't take it personally. That's their issue, not yours.
yeah.
Do you like yourself? It's a hard question for us to ask ourselves. Do we like ourselves? And I know that when I ask that question, no, I don't like I do this and I do this and do that. Why do I do this? Well, because I think that's what people want from me. Well, why are you chasing other people's opinion? Why does it matter to you so much? Because it validates me. Do they have the right to validate you? Or is it only you that can validate yourself? You've got to be willing to ask those questions.
Mm. As you said, it's a process, it's a long journey, it's our life's work. And I did some work on this a while ago, and what I discovered was that our inner voice, our wisdom, sinking from the head speaks in words, but the body is much more subtle than that. It's not words it uses, it's feelings and emotions and senses. So you have to give yourself space to start recognizing those, and that alone can take a bit of time. Like these aches and pains, that's the body sharing something with you. So getting in tune with that, I think, is hard at first. I didn't have much patience. I'm like, God, I've got stuff to do. But then as you started to tune in, you just had this wonderful sense of, and you can't put your finger on it. A lot of the stuff you can't put into words, but the feeling and the space, certainly in my experience, that was just like really phenomenal to have that. So it's a wonderful.
Well, that's the knowingness. That is the knowingness.
Yeah, so powerful. And Sara, thank you for really kickstarting this journey. And I think seeing what you've achieved from trusting yourself, going with those instincts and seeing where you are today and just how much of an impact you're having on the world, I think that's just so inspiring for everybody listening. Is there anything that you feel we haven't touched on that would really help the listeners with their journey of self-discovery?
Okay, well, I'll take what the knowingness means to me, right? And the knowingness is when I open up to the universal knowledge, God, spirit, source, but energy, whatever you wish to call it. But I open up to that wisdom. That wisdom comes to my heart in resonance. My heart trusts it. It feels good with it. It gives that knowledge or that wisdom to my spirit, and my spirit goes with it, and it extracts from my mind the knowledge I need to make the wisdom happen. I call that knowingness because the wisdom is the truth of what you need to know in the now. When it resonates with the heart and the spirit knows what to do with it, the mind's data, which is, just remember, we're full of data in here. It knows how to take that data that is relevant to the moment and put it into practice or use it in any which way. That knowingness, that trusting. And it's knowingness is not something you think. It is something you feel. It is something you are. And when you're in that knowingness, I don't need to verify, don't need to validate, don't need to trust it, don't need to have anybody else approve of it. It is. It simply is. And when you're in that space of it is, you know you can take the action because you know you're being guided to the right action for the right outcome. And that's that trust of the knowingness. That's what's always guided me. That's when I'm in my truth. And if I'm not in my knowingness and I'm in my head, then I'm in my confusion and I could step into my fear. If I open up and listen to my knowingness, I know I'm always going to be guided right.
I love that. Using your knowingness, your inner sense already as that guiding compass. And I guess in these moments that we all have, where we're like, can I really do this? Am I ready? Do I know enough? Whatever, just to sit with yourself. And instead of stressing about it, do the opposite.
Yes.
Take that breath, stay calm, and ask for the knowledge.
Allow. Allow. Yes.
I love that. And again, so
Again,
simple.
simple. I know. And that's the thing with game. We like to complicate things. You don't need to have a master's degree to know the universal knowledge. I have, as the child, imparted information to people that needed to know that information at that time. And most of the time, I had no idea what I was saying to them. It was just came through me because they needed to know. How do you know that? I don't know. Can you repeat it? No. It came through me for you to know. What you do with it is what you do with it. I was just the channeler. And we're all capable of channeling. But we've got to get out of head. Very much trust the heart generator and the soul guidance system. Then we'll know what we're doing is right. Because we'll know it, because we'll feel it, because we are it.
Yeah, I love that. We can all do it. As we can all breathe, even if we're asthmatic. There is no excuse. We can all breathe. Love
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Sara,
And being an asthmatic, actually, you value the breath even more.
yeah, there was a brilliant book. I think it was called Breath or Breathe, all about how the way we've been conditioned to breathe is completely wrong. And when you get it right, then that fixes so many aspects of our health, our body, everything. So it's been on my to read list. I haven't got to it yet. I'm definitely going to get stuck into that as well. Sara, thank you so much for sharing so much knowingness with us today, and not just helping us get started on this journey, but I think really inspiring us that this isn't just something that's nice to do. It's something that's really essential. If we want to get to where we want to go, if we want to achieve our vision of success, if we want to have that impact and help others, and I think 99.9% of my listeners are in that space, they are passionate about helping others, we have to start with ourselves, start with that knowingness.
Always. Then it's meaningful. And we want to do something that's meaningful. We are designed to be contributors. We are designed to do that, to share our experiences, because that's what makes the whole strong. And so we want to know that our service, who we are as a person, is actually contributing something of value, because that's how we're made. And so the more you become the beautiful gift you are, the more you're able to share that gift with others.
Yeah, that ability to generate meaning and value for others starts with understanding yourself and your purpose. And that comes from everything you've shared with us today.
Yeah.
Sara,
and just a quick note, Self-Discovery Media, if you plug that in, it'll still go to it, but we're having name change as of 4th of April to selfdiscoverywisdom.com. But both of them will take everybody to the site.
Brilliant. I was just about to ask, where's the best place for people to find all of this amazing knowledge that you're sharing with the world? So Self-Discovery Media
is about to become selfdiscoverywisdom.com.
So
the media will still get to us, but it's now going to be known as selfdiscoverywisdom.com.
Brilliant. I love that. And yeah, I like that title. It really says something to me.
I know. That's the reason the media was when I went into video, not just audio. And then I thought, no, media is not it. That's what we talk about all the time is wisdom. And I have another site called the orchardofwisdom.org. And that's where you'll find our mentors and where our books are coming. And where if you wish to be a guest, you can join. And you can see all the other workings that we're doing.
Fantastic. Well, I'll put both of those links on your show notes page and all your socials as well, so everyone can really plug into that and really download all of that amazing wisdom.
And all you have to do is put your name in the search bar. Anytime that anybody's listening to this, and your show will come up as of the 27th of March, and they can listen to the wisdom that you shared, which you so gracefully shared with your journey to where you are.
Thank you, Sara. Thank you again so much for just being so generous and open with everything you shared with us today. I've really loved this discussion.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us today. I hope you took away as much value as I did. If you enjoyed the show, then I'd love it if you could let me know by leaving a review on iTunes. And why not help others grow and succeed alongside you by sharing this episode with your network and business besties. There are a lot more tools, tips, and insights coming up for you in the next episode, so don't miss next week's show. Or better still, subscribe now so you never miss your weekly dose of inspiration. And remember to follow the new free training I've created for you to help you communicate, market and sell your true value and enjoy attracting more of your dream clients. You'll find it at melitacampbell.com/training. I've been Melita Campbell, business coach and value whisperer, and I look forward to seeing you again in next week's episode.